I said relevant again. It's like my synonym instead of cinnamon. Relevant. Shit, now I can't remember which one's right. Relevant. It's relevant. It's starting. Okay. Everything's okay. It's writing down my... I had a full body shudder. Another full body shudder. Oh my god, you guys can't see it. I'm literally like trembling. Get the props in the background. Sorry guys, that's a bit loud. There we go. Daring to talk over this a little bit. Looking at the props in the background, that fox mask keeps sticking out at me or jumping out at me. It's behind the piano right now. But it reminds me that we've actually had the Retracing Belied lore for a long time, and I'm fairly certain that that was early hints of Inazuman, like one of our earliest indications of Inazuman culture. Because that one's all about going to a festival and meeting a divine being who is a fox that can transform. So this might be an opportunity to make the Retracing Belied artifact set relevant.
非常感谢陈志毅老师来到今天的节目现场，为我们带来了精彩的演奏。各位旅行者，大家好，我是你们的老朋友大伟哥。今天的新版本特别节目将由我来担任主持人。不知道大家在 1.6 版本的海岛玩得开心吗？一直以来，为了能够给旅行者在游玩提瓦特的过程中一直能有新鲜有趣的体验，原神项目组的每一位创作者都在制作的过程中不断的创新，精雕细琢，对游戏的每一个版本进行反复的研究与多次的迭代。我们希望全球的旅行者都能够在提瓦特大陆这个奇妙的幻想世界中收获非常多的乐趣。而今天，在经历了充分的准备后，我非常高兴地向大家宣布，接下来原神即将进入全新的 2.0 版本，新的世界区域。各位旅行者对盗栖地区充满了好奇和期待，就让我们跟随着 2.0 版本的 PV、The
Immovable God and the Eternal Youth Me
来快速了解一下新的地区与故事吧。
Oh my god! Oh, that's such a pretty screen. I'm gonna need to steal that screen. At 40 minutes, a screen we need to steal.
Mondstadt is the city of freedom, and Liyue is the city of contracts. As for Inazuma, it's known as the Nation of Eternity.
The almighty Shogun, focused exclusively on our single goal of implementing eternity.
I know of a way to introduce you to the Raiden Shogun. But before that, there is one other place I was hoping you both would accompany me to.
It's so pretty.
When a person's ambition reaches a certain strength, the gods look upon them with favor. In other words, a person's vision represents their ambition.
It must be a possession, right? I see. That reminds me. It seems that his vision was recently confiscated.
It's just like that feeling of emptiness. The feeling that something is missing.
For to be stripped of one's vision is to be stripped of one's ambition. As one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament, it does nothing to prevent his descent into the depths. So, my intuition was correct. The
We need to
wind that
rewatch this
blows from
cutscene so
afar
many
carries
times.
fresh life to these shores.
We need to rewatch that cutscene so many times.
Perhaps in the eyes of a deity such as the almighty Shogun, the lives of those who inhabit the world are inconsequential. At present in Inazuma, in the name of the Vision Hunt Decree, the people's aspirations are being senselessly trampled underfoot. Thus, we cannot remain indifferent to this situation without also remaining indifferent to our own fate. Now,
Evolution.
it is time for me to honor my word.
We're gonna play host to a revolution.
My apologies. Kamisato art, Sometsu. Do not forget that challenging the Vision Hunt Decree is tantamount to challenging a deity. When you are ready, go to Hanamizaka and look for a fireworks shop run by the Naganohara family. There, you will find someone who can help you.
Allow me to introduce myself. A festive reprise! I'm Yoimiya. Great to meet ya. Fire hazard! Sayu, Shuma Tsubari at your disposal. And away I go! Ninjutsu!
In addition to us, there is also the resistance on Watatsumi Island. Many who have lost or fear losing their visions have rallied together under Sango no Miya on Watatsumi Island to form a resistance
The
group.
rebel force. We
Remove
have a
all
rebel
threats to
force.
eternity! By order of the almighty Shogun!
Adopted daughter of the Kujo clan of the Tenryo Commission. She's also a general in the Shogun's army.
The resistance never betrays its own.
A ceremony, you say? Why would such a task be left to the Tenryo Commission?
The wait is over, my comrades.
You will be inlaid upon this statue.
Well, there's Raiden. Raiden appeared in the stream. Anyone who is voting for that, there you go. It's in the chat. A's in the chat, S in the chat, star in the chat. We were hoping for Inazuma to go dark. We are now playing host to a civil war. You want to talk about dark? We want to talk serious? Wins in the chat! Wins in the chat! Oh, playing host. I mean, okay. I shouldn't be so excited about, like, yes, we're going to a country at war, but, like, we are literally going to be supporting the Rebel Alliance. To reject a divinity that is not protecting humanity. This is what we've needed! These are not tears running down my face. Winning. You're winning at
我
life.
先跟大家介绍一下我们原神的制作团队。这是一支非常年轻，在上海土生土长的国产团队。几年来， 我们有幸聚拢了许多有想法、有执行力的同学，得以将大家的所见所学凝聚在《原神》这部作品中。在今天这样一个特殊场合，我特别邀请到了这支团队中的几位成员来到我们的节目现场，希望能够借此机会将我们的一些创作风格、理念与思路分享给全世界的观众朋友们。对此，我们也感到非常的荣幸与自豪。
Oh, like a behind the scenes.
向大家介绍一下今天第一位出场的成员，也就是我身边的这一位团队的战斗设计师鸡哥。
感谢大伟哥。那各位旅行者，大家好，我是原神的战斗设计师鸡哥，也很感谢大伟哥的邀请，很高兴跟大家见面。
好，欢迎鸡哥。那么今天呢，我们想从一个之前从未跟玩家朋友们分享过的话题开始讲起，那就是作为一个拥有数百名成员的制作团队，我们原神项目组是如何持续平稳的为玩家们提供精彩内容的。
好的，那我就从设计师的角度来先谈一谈我自己的感受吧。说到团队的话，其实大家或多或少都参与过学校的社团活动，或者需要多人协作的课堂作业。可能大家想象中呢，游戏制作的大致流程可能也跟这些流程差不多。先由设计师出一个很长的 PPT， 然后程序、美术根据 PPT 里的方案，去一条一条的实现完成，最后往客户端里进行封装，然后其实是不太利于游戏进行创新的。
Absolutely.
所以，如果我们想要做出令玩家惊喜连连的内容，整个团队包括设计师在内的所有的部门，其实我们的核心工作重点应该是放在如何设计并制作出有趣的内容这一点上的。对。那在原神，我们团队中的每一个人其实都是创意的来源，然后每一个创意的实现，其实靠的也是团队中的每一个人之间相互的一个理解与协作。团队的工作，它当然自然有上下游的分工，但在决定创作某一内容的时候，从设计之初，我们就会把所有制作环节上所有成员都聚在一起。进行沟通讨论
to communicate and discuss together. It's not easy to do this. Firstly, the frequency and efficiency of communication among our team members is very, very high, and this is important in the teamwork process. Here, we have some advantages whereby from the art, programming, creative concept, and writing and design that directly produce content, to our colleagues in charge of operations and marketing for user-facing. We all work off of the same office area. Co-location is very important. Ensures that we do not have issues like objective environment constraints, such as the need for remote outsourcing, supervision of revisions, and other issues. Project team, whenever we have any ideas, we can just find the team member in charge, or when there is a need for multiple people to discuss, it's convenient to get everyone together. We discuss face-to-face and with a clear conclusion, we can start work on it immediately. When communicating, we believe in a principle, that is to speak up and convince people with reason. I'm sure players have heard of this before. Our Genshin Impact team has many experts and professionals from various fields. But because of this principle, when people are working on specific issues, the communication process is very flat and open, down to earth, and pragmatic. On top of efficient communication, everyone has another principle, which is to do what they promised. This is actually kind of professionalism, and we constantly push the limits of our abilities. To give a specific example, in version 1.1, we designed a new character called Tartaglia. That's right, child, or Tartaglia. Everyone actually made quite a few bold attempts and finally brought those ideas to fruition. For example, when our animation team is compact, including traditional Russian Cossack shaksa, I forgot some of those words. These fighting styles are incorporated into Tartaglia's movements. As for our special effects teammates, they wanted to try out new textures and shader, capable of expressing the glint of a blade like the texture of water, and effects such as a flowing cape that is torn. The designer actually wanted Child to be able to switch weapons, so it took a long time to program a set of skill scripts and status management logic entirely dedicated to relying function points. At that time, we had a huge headache over some issues. Why is his cape glitching again? Why is his blade sticking to his hand again? This is the reason why when we produce Genshin Impact, we always have a sense of security. Because we can always trust our teammates. We believe that all of us will do our best to achieve what we set out to, step by step. In addition to those 2 points, another point is that everyone on the team is actually a gamer. Oh, I'm sure that helps. Real OG gamers. They also have a very deep affection for Genshin Impact, what they are working on. We have teammates with an adventure rank of 56, 57 or more, and quite a lot of them managed to obtain all the stars in Spiral Abyss. So actually the whole team and our players, we are all companions fighting alongside each other in Teyvat. As a member of the game development team, no matter what duties you're responsible for, firstly, only by loving the game, loving to play the game, can we put ourselves in our players' shoes, so we can evaluate the game from their perspective and bring better game content and experience. Alright, now to talk about Inazuma, which everyone is very excited about. What kind of changes are there in the development of Inazuma compared to the first two regions? A lot. It's the third large-scale area to open after Mondstadt and Liyue. During the whole process of creating Inazuma, the whole team faced a huge challenge, namely from two aspects. On one hand, there was the issue of pacing content output after the launch, because everyone was already exploring Mondstadt and Liyue, which were already out. We spent a lot of time continuing to develop those large areas of land, develop Inazuma. The challenge were actually greater. Like what I said earlier, on one hand, we have to make sure we can continuously update the versions and continue to provide players with gameplay content. On the other hand, we have to work on the key node to develop the new area of Inazuma. Basically, they've been scrambling to keep us happy and launch a massive release of high-quality playable content. These are the words I want to hear. Lots of pressure on the team has never faced in their career. I wonder if this is to get like some sympathy for all the people who complain about just how slow content is, which I feel like is all of us. Getting some sympathy and perspective, like, be nice to the devs, they're trying so hard! It's centered around Electro, has ushered in Eternity. We will also optimize the design ideas of game content from the level of gameplay based on this theme. Ooh, to present them in a uniform manner. For Inazuma-related regional productions and many aspects on top of it, such as the background, gameplay design, we started on them pretty early. Some of our teammates have been working hard on the development of a version corresponding to Inazuma for a long time before Inazuma content is released to our players. Compared to similar new areas that Traveler can explore, such as Dragon Spine and Golden Apple Archipelago. The scale of Inazuma is larger and the content is more dense, so the relevant work required is also more intensive. For the content as a whole, we have come up with some keywords to condense what we want to express in the Inazuma area. For example, Eternity, Electro, and Energy mentioned earlier. Those keywords will then bring out a series of scenarios and gameplay designs. But eventually they will converge back to these core concepts. When it comes to Energy, for example, we have more stage gameplay and combat mechanics. Ooh, combat mechanics, excellent! To explore more possibilities on the concept of elemental energy and create new combat systems. That's actually pretty exciting, even for me. And we know how much I care about gameplay mechanics. We will also take into account some of the unique local mechanisms and ecological features that Inazuma has to expand on the gameplay for Electro. There you go, guys. I don't know if that counts as a buff, but we're expanding gameplay. We have abandoned some of the challenges that require players to use certain characters or specific elements in order to complete them. Okay, that's nice. What we have done now is to change these designs to mechanisms that fit within the existing rules. The puzzles can be solved when the player figures out how to use the mechanism. On this basis, we also tried to use some gameplay methods to significantly change our players' exploration experience in the region. We hope that through these changes, players can find new fun and enjoy themselves in the Inazuma region. Inazuma has been awaiting our travelers for a long time. I'm very glad to be here today to share so many thoughts with you all at once. For combat design, we will also continue to provide players with a more interesting and high-quality gaming experience. Later, there will be more development staff to introduce the content of Inazuma in detail. Please stay tuned, travelers. Okay, please be a break, because I want to talk. Yes! Okay. So, that was awesome. Oh god, where do I even start? Yeah, sorry, I was kind of rushed on the subtitles, but I figured it might be, like, they were sometimes even too fast for me to read, so I wanted to make sure you guys could get the content. Alright, for one, hello, yes, thank you. More wins for me on an inside look on Tartaglia development. Like, there are a few things that could make me happier than inside look at Tartaglia.
新地区的开放往往伴随着全新的人文风情。
The unveiling of a new region is often accompanied. Everyone has been looking forward to this.
已经在自由之都蒙德与契约之邦璃月结识了不少同伴，也对两个地区各具。
I also got to find out more about the unique culture of each region. Hi! On the other side of the sea, the land of Inazuma also has its own stories to tell. The nation that seeks eternity under the rule of the Electro Archon. What kind of extraordinary encounters will travelers have? Today, we have a special guest, head of the creative concept team, to share with everyone some content about Inazuma. Did you guys like me reading the subtitles? Should I keep doing that?
我是来自 IP 部门的小罗浩，很
Yes or
高兴
no?
能与大家见面。作为 IP 部门的负责人，
As head of the creative concept and writing team, I'm honored to be here today.
与大家聊一聊到期
Yes, continue. Cool. To share details about the interesting design of Inazuma. I know a lot of our players have done in-depth study of our game's lore and design. That me!
是的。
Yes. I also enjoy reading the analyses that our players have about Teyvat. Everyone in our team came up with a lot of content during the brainstorming process, and all of these will become clues hidden in various parts of the game. Players can search for, discover, and decipher these clues. That's a sort of communication with us across time and space. It gives us creators a heartfelt sense of joy. The enthusiasm and intention of our players has been an important source of inspiration for us, and we're very thankful for everyone's love. As creators, all we can do is strive to produce the best product in return for everyone's support. For example, today we have brought some topics that we believe will be of more interest to everyone. Don't let me down. To introduce Inazuma, let's start with the scene of this tea room we are in now. Can someone timestamp this for me? There is a similar tea house in Inazuma, and its overall style is rather tracing through the gaps between leaves. But what's different from the atmosphere we're in now is Komore Tea House is a very hidden place. Only special guests with reservations are allowed to enter. Boss Shibu Inu? They're moving so fast. The tea house is owned by a dog instead of a person. The communication should be different, right? Then, as a customer, after the traveler has had tea, they have to put the money inside the box. There are some special aspects of the tea house. Legend has it that all the employees have signed some kind of unspeakable contract with the dog, and they must work there forever. Oh. It's not what I expected. It sounds like there's more than meets the eye to Boss Shibu Inu. Shiba Inu, they keep doing it so fast I cannot read this. In Legend, Inazuma is indeed different from the first two regions that travelers are familiar with. However, the tea house is only one small place in Inazuma City. In addition to this, there are many more magnificent and larger locations in Inazuma. Each area has its own unique design and layout. We hope that travelers can continue to explore in depth during their adventures, to discover the various stories and details hidden within. It's the third region that we set foot in the continent of Teyvat. At the beginning of development, our team drafted the theme of Inazuma as an ocean archipelago. As only one of the 7 nations located entirely on the ocean, we wanted to preserve the unity of the region represented by the name Inazuma, but also hope that each separate island, because it consists of 6 different islands, is able to bring a different regional experience than what we encountered on our journey through Liyue and Mondstadt. Different types of natural scenery are easy to make, but how can we control and present the uniformity of Inazuma? On the point of uniformity, it may be a bit long to share entirely. We have to start from the foundation of Inazuma's design. Those are itty-bitty little teacups. It is well known that Inazuma is a nation ruled by the Electro Archon, who represents something everyone is familiar with, lightning, which happens in a flash. Lightning often symbolizes a fleeting moment, an instant. However, the Electro Archon pursues eternity. So what exactly happened to cause the Electro Archon's conviction to change from being a moment to an eternity? What is the deeper meaning hidden behind this change in philosophy? These contradictions and collisions are exactly what we wanted to convey to you in the plot, and we also very much hope that the discussion on this core idea can be expanded upon. It can drive players to have a good gaming experience, and at the same time, they can ponder more about this. After establishing the general premise of the Electro Archon's pursuit, presenting the conflict in the game's storyline and design, and manifesting it concretely. I guess everyone hearing this now must be thinking about the rationale behind the Electro Archon's actions. Yeah. What is the motivation that drives her to pursue eternity, and what happened to give her this idea? What means does she use to pursue this goal, and how feasible are such means? What stage has the Electro Archon reached so far in her pursuit of eternity? And what are the implications of her actions? Will this Archon's pursuit conflict with those of her people, and so on? In the actual process of production, these questions and thoughts converge together within the details in-game. They were transformed into a soil that nurtured the entire culture of Inazuma, and we have taken these points into consideration when designing each island, to reflect the pursuits of the gods, their favors, and the marks left by the people involved, to reflect the greater worldview through stories of the common folk. The pursuit of eternity is reflected through details, helping us present the big picture. Although there are different islands and factions, there are differences in how they are presented for certain aspects, but if we look at it from a holistic perspective, the conflict is present through the entire story and in every part of Inazuma. Thus, the unity of the whole is shown. So that's to say, the overall concept runs like a vein through the design of the entire region. But the details vary. And from this, we can see the actions and motives of various factions from Inazuma. Oh my god, I can see the videos forming in my mind. What I have mentioned is just a basic process. For the specific design, we will start with 3 entry points. One is history, the second is culture, the third is geography. We refer to history as the events that have happened in the Inazuma region. I believe that many characters have noticed that there was a long and arduous Archon War in the continent. I believe that many characters have noticed there was an Archon War. It also includes the tragedy that arose, the destruction of Conreal. Oh my fuck. Many wars and battles have led to loss. He just admitted that we're going to get more details on Conreal and the Archon War, which, we could have guessed because we need to get those details, but the confirmation still feels good. During the creation process, we did a lot of research on the real world for reference. We referenced a system called Bugu, or commissions, and a commission is basically an important group of people responsible for a certain area of affairs. There are 3 most prominent commissions in Inazuma. They are the Tenryou Commission, led by the Kujo clan, responsible for managing security and military affairs and enforcing the Vision Hunt decree. The Kanjo Commission is held by the Hiragi clan, responsible for managing finances. And the third is the Yashiro Commission, led by the Kamisato clan. They are in charge of managing shrines, festivals, and cultural events. Those clan names sounded familiar. How is the geographic aspect designed? There is so much information, I need to rewatch this to parse it. First, we worked with the art and design teams, taking the color corresponding to the region's element, similar to what we did for Liyue and Mondstadt. So Electro is purple, and we designed Inazuma based off of this scheme. It's a region that has distinctive features, and this is what our design and planning departments want to reflect. They hope that its ecological environment contains more Electro, with more electro-harvestable resources to interact with. It's given birth to different colors, vegetation, trees of different varieties, and special harvestable resources. For example, dandelions and whirlwind asters, glaze lilies, and silk flowers. They also have distinctive objects representative of its own culture and geography. We designed one called the Naku weed and another called the Sakura bloom, and we used these nice-looking plants to integrate Electro into the collection and puzzle-solving aspects. The electro element can be said to be the foundation of Inazuma after further combining it with the core historical events. For example, we have Mount Yugo, a mountain related to the legend of Tengu, the Narukami Shrine, which enshrines a huge tree resembling a fox, Tatarasuna, a place relating to the crafting of swords, and Mujin Gorge. Oh my god, I couldn't keep up. The terrain and landscape derived from the historical, geographical, and cultural designs described earlier are also important vehicles for the storyline in Genshin Impact. By integrating the story with the environment, we can better present the story of gods and humans in the world, and try to bring players a more immersive gaming experience through various scenes, levels, and text. Can you pick a few to introduce? We're going to talk about the Nakamari Shrine. The design of the sacred sakura is derived from the belief of Himorogi in sacred trees. Timestamp 107. It symbolizes the Electro Archon's protection, but I would like to elaborate. We didn't just reference sakura trees for the sacred sakura, but also a tree called the Quaking Aspen. The tree is actually quite interesting. Underground, the root systems of many trees are closely interlinked, so what looks like one large forest is in fact interesting. So the sacred sakura has adapted a similar design. This special natural ecology complements the player's actual in-game experience and exploring, and it will manifest as more distinctive and realistic. Then, since we're on the topic of the sacred sakura and the Narukami Shrine, I must mention two characters. The Raiden Shogun and Zen, they also symbolize the core cultural design. I don't know how much longer I can wait. Are there any at the Shogun's residence? For the time being, there's a geographical wonder in Inazuma called the Mujin Gorge, and we feel that this location is very representative of the Raiden Shogun. Its existence is closely related to her, and here she once faced a large serpent that attacked the Watatsumi Island. To slay her opponent, she dealt a thunderous slash, but because her power was too strong, it cleaved the island in two. Beautiful. You can see the remains of the Great Serpent when you set foot on the Yashiori Island, and it's divided into north and south as if neatly sliced by a blade. This wondrous scene can be in the game. Its grudge continues to linger. Wrathful remnants, again, wrathful remnants. It has also developed a phenomenon, or exploring the Tarigami, which is derived from the associated culture and history. For example, the mining of crystal marrow, and the excavation of a legacy related to the Great Serpent. Holy shit. As well as the crafting of swords. And the reason why the Great Serpent and the smelting of Taratsuna are integrated in the design is also derived from some myths and legends that the Great Serpent is associated with primitive iron making. It feels like there are a lot of clues buried in Inazuma's design that are worth exploring. Tell me about it! We hope players will embark on the journey themselves and experience the customs of Inazuma step by step. As they explore, players can venture more deeply into the world of Teyvat, unearth more secrets, and also have a lot of fun in the process. Alright, so that's all for now about regional design ideas. I wonder what kind of new characters will appear in the new land of Inazuma. Character demo. Character demo. Meow, 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 meow.
Like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
We've got nothing else to do. Why don't I tell you a story?
Alright, you're cute. I can see why people are simping over you already. Oh, and I love her sparks. Okay, I'm falling in love with her design. Oh no, it's happening. Oh my god, and look at her animations. Look at her acrobatics. Oh, fuck.
I should have just stayed in bed today.
Should have just stayed in bed today. Is Electro Shaman new? Have we had Electro Shamans? Probably, and I just haven't paid attention. Alright. I heard that there's an Inazuman character who has been very popular since the beta tests. Players have been fervently following news on her, and there's even a particularly interesting joke regarding this. Waiting for Ayaka, the drama series. Waiting for Ayaka is finally coming to an end, and I believe we can't wait for her introduction. Why don't you give us a brief introduction about her? As I was saying earlier, Inazuma has the Tri Commission, and the much-loved Kamisato Ayaka is the daughter of the Shishiro Commission's clan. Sounds like a person of high standing. In terms of status alone, yes, but she's not like a young lady that everyone generally associates the role with. She doesn't just stay in her room all day, but travels frequently to all parts of Inazuma. She has a lot of interactions with the common folk and has a high moral character, modest and curious. She also has a kind heart and will lend a helping hand to those who are experiencing hardship, which is why the people gave her the title of Shirakusagi. Oh, I can't learn these foreign words while trying to read aloud. It also reflects the public's admiration for her. Sounds very elegant. Combined with the kind and benevolent qualities you just described, I think I can understand why people love her. Ayaka comes off as very elegant and benevolent, very noble. That's likely to be people's first impression of her. However, as the plot progresses and the more we interact with Ayaka, the more they can recognize the cute side of her. Oh, I thought they were gonna go like intrigue and dark. But no, she's just cute. At her age, she will also have her own worries and desires. Of course, all of these have already been created, waiting for the players to experience for themselves. Hi, CF Moon. Is there anything in the main story that can be revealed? She will appear in the Archon Quest, Act 1, and we will meet her in the Kamisato residence. Electro Traveler looking kinda bad. The residence seems to be very different from the previous indoor schemes, but why is there a folding screen? Well, she's the young lady of the clan and has set her own rules, and that's what makes her so mysterious. We want to deliver a fresh experience to players. As for the first in-game glimpse, everyone will have a more specific impression. Alright, so cliffhanger. Leave in suspense. Then let's chat about Yoimiya. Does she also belong to one of the three clans? No. The owner of the Naganohara fireworks. She's a very skilled pyrotechnician. I'm sure everyone is very familiar with fireworks, and I feel like they're the furthest away from eternity that Inazuma sees. That's right, but for Yoimiya, although the beauty of the fireworks, the wishes of the people hidden behind the fireworks, and the hopes and emotions of people associated with it, these are very precious things. They can remain in people's hearts after the fireworks dissipate. Yoimiya is a very creative person. As an expert, fireworks are both a job and a hobby for her. That's why she will do her best to make a product that meets everyone's wishes. The effects of the fireworks show were also all produced by her, and it can be said that only such an ingenious and responsible person like her can bring a fireworks show that even the Raiden approves of. She's also someone who is very in touch with her inner child. She's good with children and is often seen playing with them, and at the same time she's very empathetic and chatty. She gets along well with people from all parts of Inazuma, and she appears lively and enthusiastic outwardly, but is actually very thoughtful. Yes, she is. So will our pyrotechnician also make an appearance in our main story? Yes, she's a very important ally for our travelers in the main story. She was part of some rather exciting moments. Looking forward to her enthusiastic demeanor. But as usual, let's not spill the beans too much. Last but not least, let's talk about Sayu. Heard she's a ninja? Alright, so she's a ninja from the Shiumatsu band, and she specializes in a rare variety of mystical ninjutsu, but mostly uses her hard-earned skills to slack off. She has something she's really anxious about, and I believe everyone can see from her appearance that she's very small. For Sayu, all her peers of the same age have grown taller, but only she remains as tiny as before. This gives her a strong obsession with growing taller, oh my god. And she has a belief, or whether her own theory, or because someone told her this, that sleeping helps you grow taller, so whenever she gets the chance, she'll find all sorts of ways to hide and sleep, oh my god. She always looks tired, like she can't ever sleep enough. And that's actually quite similar to us modern people, though we've never been through professional ninja training, and we don't know how to wield a claymore. Oh my god. Guys, we've been asking for a chibi claymore for a while. Here you go. Speaking of which, can you share more about the thought process and inspirations of the region? So it's a very distinctive style. We also hope that the characters will be fresh, special, and interesting to the players. The word interesting is further reinforced in the language of Inazuma's character design, and as a key personality trait. Interesting, combined with the cultural history of Inazuma that we just talked about, can be broken down into 3 key words. My brain is exploding. Elegance, transience, and light. These 3 words represent some of the core designs of all Inazuma characters. As for the specifics, you can experience in-game. Everything I just talked about was designed from the very basic worldview by extracting the folklore, little details of life, and some artistic features of Inazuma. We have derived some core elements that transform them into design aspects. We expanded on them and refined them, and we would like Inazuma characters to maintain certain characteristics of Genshin Impact in their identity and profession. At the same time, we want to distinguish them from the existing 2 regions to condense and form the local culture and reflect it through the characters. These differences will manifest as significant elements. Judging from the 3 new characters we just talked about, each character feels very distinctive indeed. But I'm still very interested in the previously mentioned Shogun. Different from the Animo Archon and Geo Archons, the Electro Archon is new, or not original. Oh, first female. Okay, well, that too. That's right, and in the Archon quest, players will have a more in-depth contact with the Electro Archon. Our upcoming update, version 2.0, the Act 1, Immovable God and the Eternal Euthymia. We'll have to look up what that means. Act 2, Stillness, the Sublimination of Shadow will be available. At the same time, there's story quests. Holy fuck! That's 2 Archon quests and 2 story quests in 1 release?
我个人也特别期待能够在到期的剧情中和他们见面。对了，
By the way, I heard that the creative concept and writing team have prepared a small surprise for everyone. Is it time to reveal it? No, when separately releases? Oh, okay. To formally give a sneak peek of all the new characters who will make an appearance in the future Inazuma Archon quests. Firstly, the Raiden Shogun that you are very excited for. In terms of her appearance, she is a cold and austere character, and she will be key to the story of Inazuma. She doesn't have the hair thing. She's not using Zhongli, the hair thing. What is it that the Electro Archon is pursuing and guarding, and what exactly is she fighting for? Will be hidden in our traveler's journey this time. There's also Toma. Hi! He's a rather special character. He has blonde hair, different from most other Inazuma characters. And of course, his identity is naturally a bit of a mystery on its own. In terms of his personality, he's very observant of people. A rather mature companion, he's currently the chief retainer of the Kamisato clan, and has a certain level of association with the Kamisato siblings. The next character we see is Kujo Sara, and she is the general of the Tenro Commission, the adopted daughter of the Kujo clan, and a Tengu warrior. She has wings as dark as a raven. She's also a very prominent character, even among the many capable individuals in the Tri-Commission. She's loyal to the Raiden Shogun and to her duty, and is a very charismatic individual. This adorable young lady is Kokomi, and despite her delicate appearance, she's actually the leader of the resistance. Yes! She is a wise and resourceful leader, although she always wears a serene smile. She's also walking around in a swimsuit? I would say she's the brains of the forces. And here's the brawn. Oh, you're cute. You are adorable. Hello, Goro? Aru? Someone help me pronounce that. He's the general of the Sangonomiya troops. He stands his ground in combat and becomes fierce. He's very dependable in critical moments. Our last character today was introduced during the sneak peek in 1.5. She is none other than Yae Miko. She is the Guji of the ground in Narukami Shrine, and her elegant and beautiful appearance belies an intelligence and cunning personality. She's a lady entity who's not easy to predict. She has her own principles and methods of doing things, and she will meet with the traveler several times in the story. What events will unfold at that time?
还请玩家自己到游戏当中去体验了。
Players, you can figure that out for yourself. We have revealed all our new characters. You sure that's a good idea? Yeah, so the leakers can't do it. We have been following our community, and the sneak peek only represents a small part of our production team's gratitude to our players. We really appreciate everyone's support and love along this journey. We also remember the mission of our team, which is to produce exceptional work for our players. To let every character and every story be better presented in front of our players. With that, here's wishing everyone a memorable journey in the Inazuma region. Oh my god. Okay, there's a code. I need to breathe. Oh, fuck. Okay, guys. So, looking at... Oh my god, this is a gift to everyone, but like, lore people are winning today, right? I mean, gameplay people are winning too, but, you know, they usually win. We're winning. We're winning at life, guys. We're winning. Okay. Breathing. I kind of don't even know where to start. I'm really excited or really pleased to hear about how much they focused about making it a unique experience, like making Inazuma mechanically and culturally different from Mondstadt and Liyue. Because I feel like that's been a concern that Swirl and I have been talking about a lot. It's like, okay, new exploration will be great, but we don't want just like more of the same, right? So very good that they focused on that. So we've learned a little bit about the design concepts and regional flavor. So in the game, how do we express these ideas using visual art? And turn these into scenes that everyone can fully explore. Next, we have Sissy, an artist from our scene production team. Hello, travelers! I'm in charge of the map of Inazuma, and it's my honor to be invited by Dawei to the show today to talk about some of the scene design concepts of the new area, Inazuma. We've seen some images of Inazuma's scenery before. In a visual sense, they made a powerful impression on me. So, Sissy, can you tell us more about the overall art style of the map of Inazuma? Oh, I'm sorry you need to leave, Monata. Thank you for coming. We've included a lot of hidden designs, and it can be difficult to summarize purely with words, but generally speaking, what we want to convey to the players perhaps can be summarized by a quote from the Japanese author. We find beauty not in the thing itself, but in the patterns of shadows, the light and the darkness, that one thing against others. It means that objects are hidden within vague rays of light. And to let one's imagination enhance beauty, this is the biggest difference between Japanese and Western spatial design. If the Western style of design is to present everything in the fullest detail, then the Japanese pursuit of tranquility, seclusion, and calmness is to express an atmosphere, and this atmosphere remains through players' experience on the map of Inazuma, and it will gradually progress. Inazuma is the only island nation among the 7 nations of Teyvat, so its climate is different from that of Mondstadt and Liyue, where the sky is quite clear. Storms, storms, always storms. Yes! They can feel the scenery changing rapidly in front of their eyes as the light and shadow flows, as if the scenery can be blown away by the sea breeze if you're not paying attention. We try to convey these emotions to our players by manipulating space and perception to create a shift between light and shadow. I'm so happy right now. It's also deeply impacted by the Electro's Archon's ideals. Under the 2 primary contexts of being Electro-influenced, the scenery and ecology are created based on the geological formation of islands. On this map, we want our players to feel the impact of the Electro element through the mountains and rocks. We also wanted to create some very unique and recognizable structures. So we tried to get inspiration from the natural wonders of the real world. Lastly, we used the cliffs in Japan as a focus of the design. This place, known as the Dover of the Orient, has a very unique geological structure. The rock gains are horizontal, and there are some small islands in the sea that look as though they plunged into the water horizontally, which seems very unstable. It's very similar to what we want to convey in terms of the electro's influence on the landscape. So based on this point, we refined and reconstructed these horizontal grains. We depicted these oblique grains and structures on every surface of the rocks, and then we reintegrated the grains in the form of a collage, which forms the intersected lines that we see. So that's how you demonstrate the electro's impact on the terrain. It's very innovative. But at the same time, we also came across a big challenge, which is how do we provide a way for the players to explore and experience this ecology without destroying the natural ecology. Later, we figured that if we see the entire island as a more three-dimensional space with upper and lower structures, then players can find these locations through secret places and channels. Ooh la la! Just like in Spirited Away, how Chihiro reaches another world through a long tunnel. Ooh. Or like in My Neighbor Totoro, how Mei falls into Totoro's cave from the fence in her backyard. This would make it more interesting, right? Alright, a lot of hidden world feels. That's cool. Once we established this idea, we started a long journey of realizing our concepts. We placed the sacred sakura roots, which have been mutated under the influence of electro, and lit up these dark caves with special shapes growing with purple shrubs. Dark caves, they know what I want. If you want to explore certain mysteries, we can find keys in the village. Jump into the dry well in the village, squeeze in between the rocks by the sea, or find hidden treasures under ordinary items. In an obscure little cave inside Sushugo Forest, there's a sense of danger everywhere here. Visually, there's a strong contrast from the places above ground, which are tranquil and beautiful. There's also a place that's full of magical wonder, which is Taratsuna. It is a great place where human history meets natural wonder. Just now, our colleague mentioned the battle between the Shogun and the Great Serpent, after which the remains of Tatarigami were sealed on this island. With the remains as its core, the energy can gather the surrounding rock, which forms a huge visual center in the middle of the scene. The furnace, the largest smelting facility in Inazuma, is located here. To further enhance the visual depiction of this energy, we directed the surrounding wooden planks towards the middle to connect with the furnace in the center. Next, we enveloped the inner space in purple and added special effects of flying sand and flickering lightning to the environment to express a sense of danger and mystery. It is also closely related to the Tatara Tales, a large-scale open-world themed quest. Tatara Tales. Before unlocking the relevant quest, there will be a huge energy shield that looks like an electric wave on the outskirts. Tatara Quest.
那说起来，场景里面的这些花花草草，它好像也跟之前的地区非常的不一样啊。
是的，
就是关于到期的植被是基于前期。
As for the vegetation of Inazuma, we discussed with the creative concept and writing team and decided to use purple shades to depict the areas. For normal areas that aren't affected, we tried to play homage to the classic animation colors of Ghibli animations, and its a fusion of different shades of cool green. The light blue, baby blue eyes, and the dark blue constitute the basic ecology of Inazuma. It connects every plain and swamp, and reeds grow vigorously in the mountain passes, river banks, and on hills. In summer, people sit on Amakane Island, where the sakura blossoms bloom, and watch the fireworks lighting up the skies of Inazuma. The sakura blossoms in the city are illuminated by fireworks, and the reflections on the sea surface inspires us to imagine beautiful things. We can feel a creator's passion for their work. Which one left the deepest impression on you? When you asked me just now, I had some images in my mind. Like a misty landscape and maple leaves blowing in the wind, with buildings on Rito's shore. The port city is engulfed in a gloomy atmosphere, and in the dim light you can see people walking and talking. A few simple houses sit quietly beside a stream on the plain, and when you look back, the top of a torii gate peeks out from among the massive trees. If you happen to find a tanuki in the grass, what are you? You're adorable. You can follow it all the way up through a misty forest. You'll then arrive at the home of Ayaka, which is surrounded by sakura blossoms. Oculus sighting. My favorite would be the Kamisato clan estate. Through the corridor with light passing through, as you sit in Miss Ayaka's tea room, you can see the terrace framed by green branches through the semi-open structure. In the distance, Inazuma City and Tenshikaku can be seen faintly. Through the thick clouds, the sun shines on the roof like a painting in front of your eyes. The depiction of all these places with Eastern influences never fails to impress me no matter how many times I see them. There will be more wonderful scenes in the coming version. For example, Watatsumi Island with its distinctive and unique characteristics, peculiar landscape, and dreamy colors, and the magnificent Sarai Island, which is constantly enshrouded by thunderstorms. Surumi Island, abandoned for many years, covered in withered branches and vegetation that looks like thunderbird feathers, and the largest underground space below sea level in Inazuma. There are many more unique landscapes and plants waiting for you to explore. As the landscape creators, we are also looking forward to creating more new areas and giving a fresh, interesting experience to all travelers. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation, Sissy. Besides the beautiful scenery, the music is also something that travelers enjoy. Before officially visiting, we reviewed the soundtrack of the 1.0. Many great tracks like the one during the battle with Child and the battle with Ajdaha. And the music that appears in our trailers like Travail and We Will Be Reunited will all be included in the new album! There's a new album coming out, ooh la la! The commemorative OST. Look, they're cashing in on nostalgia already. We're less than a year old, guys, but here's to nostalgia. 68 remarkable tracks. The Japanese raccoon dog, also known as the tanuki, is a subspecies of the Asian raccoon dog. As a tanuki, the animal has been significant in Japanese folklore since ancient times. Thank you. All right. Tanuki. Real life folklore. Okay. The soundtrack for 2.0 is also in production. So we have our home composer and producer to give us a brief introduction. Hello, travelers! I'm excited to share some details about the production of the soundtrack with you. Genshin is an open-world adventure game. Different soundtracks are required to match different locations. We take a lot of inspiration from music around the world. And we had the Philharmonic Orchestra record the music for Liwa. For Inazuma, we approached the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra. Oh, that's cool. In collaboration with traditional instrument musicians to create the music of Inazuma. Oh, that's hype. That's really cool. We'll give you a different experience. Can you give us an update on the recording of the Inazuma soundtracks? The best way to experience it is to wait until you can visit, of course, and feel the music in-game. Here, I will share some information about the music production of Inazuma with you. When designing Inazuma's music, we added several traditional musical instruments. I'm not going to try to pronounce those, I'm sorry guys. We used characteristic Japanese vocal singing, and due to the impact of the global pandemic, this time we communicated online in real time. For over a month, back and forth, I liaised with the Japanese musicians remotely to review the melody and set the musical instruments. We overcame many difficulties and achieved satisfactory results through this collaboration. I hope everyone will enjoy the music of Inazuma after entering version 2.0.
不知道今天制作团队带来的
I hope everyone enjoyed hearing from the team today. Sharing the concepts, ideas, and experience of our production with you is something that we always like to do. As game developers, sharing these experiences also inspires us to keep innovating and pursuing perfection, and to bring better quality content to every player who follows and loves Genshin Impact. In addition to the new version content mentioned by our team members, there will be a lot of events and updates with version 2.0, so let me introduce them to you. With a cutscene, please? Okay. There will be a lot of events in the new version. By participating, we can get stuff. I'm seeing a free beta? Look at these new skill books. Event currencies, we can invite Beto. Theater Mechanicus is making a repeat. Theater Mechanicus version 2. Gardening. So this is gardening in the teapot. A special container, courtesy of Madame Ping. To collect seeds! We can collect seeds in the overworld! Oh, that's so cute! That's adorbs! I agree, Jemmy. I thought that was super cool that they approached different orchestras. Wow. This is kind of adorable. New monsters with brand new combat experiences. For example, bizarrely shaped machines which have some kind of connection with ruin guards. Oh, with the name Ruin Sentinel, it seems to imitate some kind of creature in its form. They all have different fighting styles and abilities which may spell trouble for our travelers. This is cool. Those are going to have interesting lore behind them, please. We also have Inazuma's human opponents. These Ronin have turned to banditry in order to make a living and acquire wealth. They frequently appear in the wilderness of Inazuma. While exploring, you will find traces of the Fatui. For example, the Mere Maiden is an extremely dangerous member of the Fatui. Even the enemy can be enchanted by her beauty and grace and fall for her illusion. Oh my god. Travelers, please be careful. We have a Pyrohypostasis, a new member of the Hypostasis family. The Perpetual Mechanical Array that can transform into different forms. And Magu Kenki that you've seen in version 1.6. Katie, that's what popped out to me too. It's a jellyfish ruin guard. Alright, so new bosses who reside in fixed locations. Of course, these are not all the new monsters. To find out more, come visit Inazuma and experience it for yourself. In addition to new gameplay and events, we have our wishes of Ayaka and Yoimiya. There will be a boosted drop rate. And then Sayu. Okay, Sayu is on Fireworks Girls banner. Weapons! Weapons! Okay. Weapons are at 139.
可以通过锻造的方式获取5种类型的新4星武器。
The 5-star Mist Splitter Reforged and Thundering Pulse will be added to version 2.0. Thunderbird. They mentioned Thunderbird earlier. That's an artifact.
那么说到这里，还有一个好消息要带给大家。新的武器起源机制神助定轨
The new weapon wish system will come online in version 2.0 once travelers have charted a course towards their chosen weapon. If you receive a 5-star weapon in the event wish that is not the one you choose, you will obtain fate points. Once you've accumulated enough fate points, the next 5-star weapon you receive from the weapon event will be the one you chose through Epitomized Path. Alright. Some of y'all are going to be happy about that. New artifacts. Severed Fate and Reminiscence. Severed Fate, Reminiscence.
追忆之助联与绝缘之奇力。 希望新的圣遗物也能够为大家提供更多的选择，帮助大家不断完善角色与队伍的配置。
What even is this? Attack with elemental skill and then energy recharge?
还需要补充一点。
One more thing to add. To enhance the traveler's experience, we added a new function of mystic offering at the crafting bench. With 3 5-star artifacts you sacrifice, you can obtain a strong box which contains a random artifact. There are 4 types of artifacts in the strong box. You can choose which one you want when creating it. Okay. Finally, I have some special news to share with everyone. After the update, PlayStation and MiHoYo accounts will be linked so you can be cross-platform on PlayStation.
将可以绑定米还有账号，有关账号互通的细则，我们也将在
The details will be released after the program.
的说明，还请大家持续
Please continue to follow the latest news released by Genshin Impact's official accounts. And we have another code with Yoimiya. Oh my god. Give me a moment of silence. Thank you, Cole. Need to log in and get these codes later. Tell me about it, Bubbles. I'm over here like panting. For a while I was like literally drenched in sweat. You guys can't tell, but under the camera I was kind of like holding my boobs up because my whole torso was getting sweaty and I felt gross. Congratulations on your Chi-Chi! We're thrilled to have had the chance to meet with you today and be able to share so much content with everyone. Thanks again to all the members of the Genshin Impact team and to all the players around the world who have been following and supporting us. We've become better because of you. As we said in the Travail trailer when we first launched Genshin Impact, never stop. The journey of Inazuma has just begun, and there is more exciting content ahead waiting for the team to develop and waiting for travelers to explore. We hope each player will journey with us for a year, 5 years, or even longer. With that, let us meet again in the next version. Bye! Bye, Mr. CEO Man! Oh, Koala! Koala Berry! I'm so sorry I missed the subscription. Was that when I was away, AFK? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. J Fresh gonna cry. Alright guys, I missed a lot in chat. You here with us for life, for real, 5 years or more. I'll stay. I'll stay. Oh, God. We are really gonna be here for a while. I mean, that's kind of what I've been saying. I've been throwing 5 years out as like when we'll finally get to the end game plot points. Thank you, Azur. I was like, as soon as the thing is over and like I have a brief AFK to gather my thoughts, I was gonna be like, all right, what were your guys' takeaways? Because Katie said earlier, it's like trying to drink out of a fire hydrant. That's how I feel. Like there is, yeah, Cola Bear is like, I gotta process. Like, oh my god, there was so much crammed into my brain. I couldn't process it all.